So you rejoin us here on the Sunday of the Henley Women's Regatta. Had a short break there in racing to enjoy the lovely sunshine that's on offer this morning. If you are around the Henley area, come down and support the athletes. We are pretty much into the final run of races that lead up to this afternoon's finals, and we couldn't kick it off in a better way. We've got Elite 8 on the course next with Princeton University, national champions in their category over in the USA on the Berkshire Station, and the University of I can never pronounce it. Anyone got any ideas, Alison? Massachusetts, that's it.
Massachusetts, I reckon.
Buckinghamshire Station. So it's Tom Morgan here, joined by Alison Mowbray in the commentary gantry. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in the next lines of races?
Well, we've just had some good ones earlier this morning, and this is what we've got: Elite 8, and we've only got one semi-final. Because it's so elite, we've only got 3 entries at this level. I'm looking forward to seeing the Elite Quads as well coming up next. So we've got Elite 8s and Elite Quads in the next few races. So stay right here to see some fantastic rowing and sculling at the top level. 2 American crews here coming together, and we have a composite. We also have a third crew in Elite 8s. It's a composite crew, and they will get a bye right through to the final. Straight through to the final later today, and we'll race whoever wins this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this Princeton crew, winners of the Ivy League Championship and 6th in the NCAA Grand Final. So a crew with loads of pedigree. And it's my understanding that this same crew will race the Remenham Challenge Cup at the Henley Royal in a couple of weeks' time. So expect to see some more of them and their distinctive orange kit cruising down the Henley Regatta course. The University of... I'm going to get it wrong again. I'm going to call them because I'm Massachusetts.
Oh, there's a good shot.
They were winners of the Varsity 8 and the Varsity 4 at the Dadvale Regatta, and the winners of the second Varsity 8 and Varsity 4 at the A10 Championships. So yeah, we've got a fantastic drone shot there.
So what we've got here, you can see up at the start, just all the organisation, even to get this start off. So you've got the crews. We've got on there. It was yesterday. It was some army cadets, I believe. This being the stake boat boys and girls. I don't know if it still is today. But you've got 3 or 4 people on the start, and now we're off. So we're into the start of this first and only semi-final of Elite 8s, perhaps the top event, certainly one of the top events at Women's Henley. Just 3 crews entered into this event, and here we've got the first semi-final, and it is Princeton University, USA, who have taken wow, what a start. In the first 20 strokes, they've got out to a boat length. They're not messing around. I mean, they are Ivy League champions. They actually earned their place. They won their place through to Henley, Women's Henley here, and they're proving their worth.
Yeah, I have to say, this Princeton crew,
wow.
They look to be a class apart from their opponents. They are a phenomenal crew, loads of pedigree, loads of strength, loads of talent on board that crew. And they've already established clear water, and I think they'll just be looking to get a feel for the course, a bit of a run down the track, because, I mean, this is no longer a competition already, is it?
45. 45 straight off there. But it's...
I think they knew they had the beating, because obviously they'll probably have better knowledge of their opponents than we do here in the commentary gantry. I think they probably knew they'd have the beating of this crew. I mean, look at the way they row. They are truly a spectacular crew.
We've got, really... But both elite, to get, we've got Elite 8s here, and that University of Massachusetts is still an Elite 8, performing at the highest level, and they've come here and they've been so far absolutely smashed by this Princeton University. So we've got 2 American 8s here, and it's really interesting. I was over in the States at a coaching conference, and they're talking a lot there about the effect of this USA regulation, the Title IX, and how fantastic it's been for women's rowing in the States. So this is a provision back in 1972, but it means that universities educational establishments have to provide equal opportunities for women and men. And kind of more recently, in the last 10, 20 years, that's been really used. That Title IX has been used in women's sports to challenge and advocate for equal funding and equal numbers of places for women's sport compared to men's sport. And if you think of the men's college sport, how strong that is in the USA. And actually that's been the founding of many university women's programs in the States, because rowing is quite an expensive sport, and it can involve a lot of people. So there are there are colleges and universities where they have a massive women's program and they don't have a men's program because the women's rowing program is used to balance out the baseball and the American football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's why we see such strength actually in women's rowing in the States.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you want an example of a world-class women's 8, look at this Princeton 8. That is a thing of beauty as they come down the course. They are crushing it. I think that's probably the right word. Just cruising now, because I think they went out, as Alison points out, at a really high rate, really smashing it as hard as they could to get a feel for the course, get out that start, practice their line, and now they can just enjoy the row down the course and prepare themselves for the final, which will come up. They'll come up against a British composite, I think an under-23 hopeful crew. So that should be a phenomenal race to watch later on this evening.
And and British rowing just going from strength to strength now. They're having a British 8 qualified and medaling at the World Cups. So they're racing at Poznan this weekend.
Indeed, yeah.
So often we do get some GB athletes racing at Women's Henley, and not happening because they're at a World Cup. But we've got some under-23 athletes, as I say. We've got this crew will face the under-23 8, no doubt inspired by the senior successes over the past few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've knocked it down there to 28-29 now.
It's just while we watch this Princeton 8, we've actually got a couple of results from the racing in Poznan. If you haven't heard about it, the Heather Stanning and Helen Glover bandwagon rolled on. They won another gold this morning. The men's double recently took silver. And the lightweight men's 4 has also taken silver, which is a fantastic result for them and stepping on. I think it was a bronze for the men's pair.
And up at the start now, off the start, we've got the first semi-final of the elite quads, university, the elite quads. Oh, we're just watching the end of this. And just want to mention, actually, we're watching the end of this Elite 8s. This is for the Ron Needs Challenge Cup, and very sadly, but fantastic, celebrating the fantastic life of Ron Needs, who died recently. His memorial is on Tuesday. The biggest ever advocate of women's rowing. He helped me tremendously, and there's so many, British women's rowing owes a huge debt to Ron Needs, and this is the Challenge Cup, established in his name many years ago, and he died recently, and it's his memorial on Tuesday. So a lot of us will be gathering for that. Yeah. But now up at the start.
Sad loss for the rowing world. But yeah, we've got elite quads on the course now, race 332. University of Massachusetts on the Berkshire station, and Leander Club. Home interest here on the Buckinghamshire station. And you have to say, as they come down the course here, it is Leander Club who look to be the form crew.
Rating 33.5. It's not like they don't know this stretch of water, and it's not like they haven't raced here before. So this Leander crew, I'm just spotting where she is. Number 3 there, Debbie Flood. Double silver Olympic medalist, triple Olympian, very, one of the first women to row out of Leander, and recently the first women's club captain at Leander, and still, she after several years out of the sport, she had a bit of a comeback this year and did try and make it back up. She kind of was still so fit. She'd done so much with the club. She was still racing and training so hard. She thought, why not? And was doing really well at trials, got injured. And then typical Debbie fashion, Debbie Flood there, instead of, she then got back in a club quad. She always just says, I just want to, if I can get in a quad and do something and help develop some more of the girls through at Leander, as she's doing there, she'll just sit in any boat and give them her experience. That's a beautiful looking quad there.
Yeah, the evergreen Debbie Flood and this Leander Club quad are looking like the form crew in this event. Of course, as we spoke earlier, some of these athletes are doubling up, including Debbie herself from the double, so they've already had plenty of chance to race down this course and have a crack. And obviously Leander are no strangers to the Henley course, having their boathouse just stationed at the top of the course or the bottom of the course, depending on which way you want to look at it. But yeah, it's Leander
so
just
Francesca
cruising.
Rawlins, Emily Carmichael, Lucinda Gooderman and Debbie Flood in this Leander quad.
I think we can probably go back to the start, but this race is pretty much done and dusted as they come past the enclosures. And so I think the next race on the course is another semi-final of the elite quads, just waiting for the camera to switch up to the start. There we go, we've got some views of the start. And it's race 333, a Wallingford Rowing Club, London Rowing Club, University of London Composite on the Berkshire Station, and Saratoga Rowing Association USA on the Buckinghamshire Station.
So the composite crew going off at 42 there. The Saratoga University crew going off at 45, coming down to the end of the island, second semi-final.
Yeah, another GB against USA affair. Great to see the US crews coming across, making the trip to the Henley Women's Regatta, one of the most prestigious all-women sporting events, I'd say, in the world.
Why not? Let's say
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely. Some fantastic quality of racing, as we've seen all weekend, and there are the brilliant drone shots. And it is, this time, the crew from the US, the crew have made the trip across the pond. We're having a right old go there.
Still up at 40, still up at 40, 3/4 of a length up.
Nicely impressive stuff, because this composite on the Berkshire Station, I know hang-arounds, good quad in their own right. They're the Great Britain lightweight quad. So we've already got two girls who have raced already today, Brianna Stubbs and Ellie Piggott on board in the double. So plenty of pedigree on board that crew. The same crew that won silver at the World Championships in 2015 in the lightweight quad. So loads and loads of experience, loads of talent, and they're having the race handed to them at the moment by the crew from the USA. You have to watch carefully because they are sculling really nicely.
Yeah. It looked like when the crew gets out that far, that fast, do you think they might just continue to do it? But now it's being held, and if anything, creeping back slightly. So Saratoga,
Yeah, they haven't quite broken clear, have they?
Quite broken clear. They've dropped their rate now, but not a huge amount. They're still up at 37. They're still having to work quite hard.
I think probably it might be worth Saratoga having a little look at their steering. They veered just a bit too close for comfort to the booms. You're right, I think the composite on the Berkshire Station are creeping back inch by inch.
Saratoga are overrating by a couple of pips, the composite crew, and that's always quite dangerous at this stage of the race, because if they've not quite settled, and it means that they've got nowhere to go, and if they've put that much in, and not got clear. They look more comfortable now. Actually, they've dropped it a little bit now, but still.
Looks to be running a little short.
Yeah, it's a little bit. That's why they're a little bit higher rate. Just not quite broken clear.
I mean, it's true what Alison says. Certainly, I think Saratoga might not have the gears necessary to put on a final sprint. I think they're going to need this because they're just about a length and a bit up on the composite crew. Oh, actually, they've stretched right out. That's almost a length and a half.
In those few seconds, I just thought, they did. The Saratoga crew just relaxed, and that's just enabled them to pull out a little bit.
So
see the GB blades there because the composite crew. So
if this crew from Saratoga do make it through to the final, we should be in for a really interesting matchup between themselves and the Leander Club. And of course, this Saratoga crew are also racing the Princess Grace Challenge Cup at the Henley Royal in a couple of weeks' time. So plenty of chance to see them out on the course if you have missed out on them.
And of course, the US crews very often do this. It's a long way for them to come. It's very expensive, but they come over for a good chunk of the season. Maybe they race, might even race a local regatta or two, but they come over for Women's Henley and to do Royal Henley as well. Makes a great summer for them. Stay locally. There'll be families in Henley that'll be housing these different crews a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's a smart crew from Saratoga. So maybe we'll head back to the start for the first semi-final of the junior double sculls. Just waiting for the camera to show us the state boats as we watch Saratoga scull on down to what looks like a fairly comfortable victory in the elite quads. We've got in the junior quads, which is race 334. I've got Nottingham and Union Boat Club on the Berkshire Station and Warrington Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire Station. Just watching Saratoga and Wallingford leave us off. There we go. We've got live shots of the junior doubles semi-final. Nottingham nearest to your picture.